My name is Chhaya, and I'm a second generation Gujarati from Uganda, and I came here in 1972. I can't speak much about Uganda because I was only 5 when I came here, but I do have like little dreams, I see fields and I have visions of going to the temple there with my granddad. Um, However, I always question my mum or my dad, was there this? Was there that? And they think, yeah, possibly. But I have visited Uganda since, and it's totally different to my expectations. But the temple is still there, and it's not quite up to the standard that it was when my parents were there. However, when I came here in 1972, I had a very difficult time because I didn't know a word of English, and the first place we went to stay was in Scotland, Cumbernauld. It was very difficult for me because of not knowing English. I didn't know what anyone was talking about, except the teachers were trying very hard to teach me ABCD and learning English right from the beginning. I had to put up with a lot of bullying. So I used to run to school and run home from school being chased by the bullies. It was a very difficult time for me. And the other thing was the weather. The weather was absolutely difficult to understand because we'd never seen snow before. So when it snowed, I just thought to myself when I looked out the window, oh my goodness, I think the clouds are falling apart. But when my dad came home from work, he went down with a pot and he brought some snow back up and he said, look, all it is it's water, okay? It's just like the same thing that's in the freezer. See that? You know, it's all frozen. It's the same stuff. It's just frozen, and when it melts, it just turns to water. So there's nothing to worry about. You're not going to be harmed by anything. So that was good, in a sense that it brought a little bit of confidence in me. And after that, it was a bit exciting to have it snow outside, and the weather was completely different in Scotland because it wasn't as cold as it is down here, because we were a lot more used to the weather, I guess. It seemed warmer in the snow. You'd go out there, you'd play snowball fights with your friends and whatever. My brother was more into all that sort of stuff. But so for my English, after school, I'd go for tuitioning in Scotland to learn English. That was quite difficult as well because, again, I'd be pursued by the bullies. It wasn't long after, about a year, that we moved to Southampton. And we lived in Portswood. I went to a school in Beaverstown, and even then it was quite difficult because being called Pakis, which we are Ugandan Asians and we are Indians, it was difficult to come to terms with people calling you Paki, 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 you know, and you're trying to explain to them that you're not a Paki, you're an Indian, you know, trying to accept us as an Indian, not a Paki. But like, people are so narrow-minded, didn't want to know it any better. So it was quite difficult at school as well. Here in Southampton, we would be pursued by bullies again. Like, didn't have that many friends at school. I had a really nice Italian friend, and she always used to stick up for me at school, so that was nice. Gradually, we moved from Southampton to Portwood, and again, we made new friends, and it was quite difficult because a lot of people seeing Indian families, they would sort of like say, what kind of food do you eat? What kind of dancing do you do? What kind of instrument is that funny sitar thing? What is it? You know, like you'd get asked funny sort of questions, and even if you didn't know, you'd have to do your level best to try and explain what it's like to be an Indian. So like, even food-wise, what do you eat at home? You know, even though you're a human being, I mean, we still eat chips, pizzas, you name it. Being vegetarians, we'd have all the vegetarian food, but at the same time, we'd have our food. And a lot of our friends used to come around and they'd enjoy our food, which was very nice. So eventually, I think that it's nice that we get on together as a community. We do our level best to be as friendly as possible. We do like watching Bollywood and Hollywood movies, so that's nice. And I'm glad to say that my son now, he is 27, going to be 27, and he has pursued a lovely career as a mechanic. He's an MOT tester, and he's gradually coming up the ladder as well with the electric cars and things. So I'm very proud of him. I'm proud of all our family initially, and everyone's doing their level best to get on with everyone. I feel proud of my dad. He's worked very hard in his work. I'm glad that he's learned his English as well while working here, as well as he knew a bit of English back in Uganda. He's made a lot of friends, and a lot of friends keep in touch with him with his working career. Even after his retirement of 31 years working for British bakeries, he went on to work for one community, which he was a volunteer driver, and he did his level best there. He got on well with the community. All the staff recognised him. I've been on one of his buses, and like when they pass each other on the buses, they go, wave. Even like the people in the community, they recognise him, and it's nice to see that he's a recognised member of the community. I am proud to be a British Asian. I'm also proud that I am from Uganda, but at the same time, I don't have that many memories of Uganda. We do have my aunt. She had lots of photos. Unfortunately, she's passed away now, otherwise I would have brought some photos in for you. But yes, she was a very proud lady. She loved Ugandan memories, and she had so many photos that she would take them out. She'd show me, oh, this was you in your childhood days. You know, you're just a little girl at that time, and you know, this was your dad, and this was your mom, and you know, they had a really good life there. I'd say their life was a lot better than what it was here, because they had everything. You know, they had good friends, neighbours. They didn't have to cook if they didn't want to. You know, somebody was there to do everything for them, gardening, cleaning. Mum had an assistant. Someone would go and drop us off to school and, you know, come and pick us up. But the nicest thing is, for me, that my granddad was there in Uganda. Not that I have that much of a big memory of him, but he was there. And I just really miss that one thing, that I wish he could have been here in UK and I could have had some time with him. I'm glad that they came here and not gone to a different country, because I think everything's here. You've got good friends, good families. Dad also managed to find a few of his friends from Uganda and managed to catch up with them and what their lifestyle's like. So that's very nice. However, with age, of course, everything has to go. So some of the friends have gone. For me, I think the life has changed in the sense that there's a lot less bullying. Lots of people have started to accept communities. What I don't like is when you get some people in the community who are naive, and like if you go to a place and you're trying to enjoy a meal or a drink or whatever, and you get that one little corner who are looking and staring at you as if, what are you doing here? You know, and you've lived here in this country for so many years and you want to feel accepted. But I have to say that there's not a lot of that going on, so it's a lot better. I think that this story, Kahaani, is very good. It brings to life about people's stories, an understanding of what people have gone through and what life is like for them now and how it was back then, and what their the history of their story is. So I think that's a nice thing about this Kahaani. For my dad's story, everyone needs to know what he's been through, how it was life back in Uganda, and then his struggle to come to the UK and his struggles in life. It hasn't been easy. Some people think that you just come here and you get given everything, but like to have just £50 in your pocket and then go out and find a job and then move your family forward, look after them, it is difficult.